We are doing the November 2021, the DBE question paper, and now we're doing question 4 spreadsheet. These are the instructions that are given to us. We either use a formula or functions in all the questions. And then they say open the 4A spreadsheet and work in the quality worksheet. As you can see, my screen is divided into two. I've already opened the 4A spreadsheet on the left-hand side, and I'm already working on quality worksheet. Question 4.1 says, insert a function in cell D3 to determine the second smallest air quality index, AQI count per year count, column E. So we're going to insert the function in column D, and then we're determining the second smallest. They have already told us the function that we are using small. To do that, we'll say equal sign small, and we're going to now select all the ranges from column E. And then we'll say 2 because they said second smallest. And then as you can see, our answer is 20. Question 4.2 said, add the option urban to the existing data validation rule in cell B7 using the list in cell J7 and J8. So here they are telling us to add a list with only urban in cell B7, and we are using the options in cell J7 and J8. As you can see in cell J7 and J8, we have rural and urban, and we are only adding the option urban. And then to do that, we're using a validation rule. The first thing that we do, we're going to select all the cells in column B. And then we're going to go to the data tab. We're going to go to data tools group, and then we're going to choose validation rule. And then we'll say allow list. And then the source, it says J7. As you can see, our J7 is rural, and we'll click the arrow to select the option that they have told us to select. And then we'll say OK. Okay, immediately when we create a validation rule, an arrow will be populated with an option urban. As you can see, this is how you create a validation rule. Question 4.3 says, the measuring station is given a risk rating column G depending on the AQI level in column F. For example, an AQI level of L1 would display a risk rating of 1 exclamation mark. So to break down the questions, it says, insert a combination of text function in cell G7 to display the number of exclamation mark using the AQI level in column F and the data in cell D7. So here, this is just the scenario. They're just giving us the background of the question. And then here they're giving us the instruction. They say we should insert a combination of text functions. So which means it's not only one function, but two functions which are called text functions. And the text functions that they're talking about is left and right. And the functions will be adding them in cell G7. And the ranges that we are going to be using, we're going to use the ranges in column F, the AQI level, and cell D7, the exclamation mark. So basically what they're saying is the AQI level, the first AQI level is L2. Our answer should give us 2 exclamation mark because it's L2. The second one is L1. The answer should be 1 exclamation mark. So to do that, we're going to say equal sign, left, then we'll select D4, then we'll say right, then we'll select our first level, and then we'll say 1, and then we'll close with 2 brackets because the first bracket is this one, and then the second bracket is for this one. And then we'll press enter. As you can see, the answer is 2 exclamation mark because the first level is 2. And then now we want to drag our answers downwards so that it doesn't change. As you can see, when we're dragging them, it does change. So to do that, we're going to lock our D using the absolute reference, the dollar signs, so that the answers do not change. Press enter. Let's see. As you can see, the answers are correct. L1 is 1 exclamation mark. L3 is 3 exclamation mark. Question 4.4 says, set the printer area to cell A1 to H4T. So we're going to select from A6 to H4T. And then what we'll do is we're going to go to the page layout. And then inside page setup group, we'll select print area. And then we will now select set print area. This is how you set the print area. Question 4.5 says use a SUMIFS function in cell H2 and the data in the quality worksheet to determine the total number of health incidents of all the measuring stations in the Eastern Cape in 2018. So when we break down this question, we are entering our function in cell H2. And we are going to be entering it in the graph worksheet under Eastern Cape for 2018. And then the columns that we're going to be using, we're going to be using the column H, the number of incidents, column C, provinces, column D, year. So to do that, we're going to use our SUMIFS. We're going to say equal sign, SUMIFS. The reason why we're using SUMIFS because we are adding multiple ranges. And then our range is For column H, the number of incidents. Our criteria, we are using column C because this checks the province column for Eastern Cape. And then we're going to be typing Eastern Cape because we are highlighting the Eastern Cape. Then our second range will be column D, the year, because this checks the year column for 2018. And then we'll say 2018. And then when we press enter, this is all the number of incidences, 5968.66. Question 4.6 says create a graph or chart to appear as follows. As you can see, the graph displays the provinces and also the incidents in 2016. So with our data, we're going to use obviously the provinces and also the 2026 data. So here, your data will appear as these ones. The first one will be Eastern Cape, second one will be Free State. So what I did is I sorted them out manually so that the provinces do appear the same as the one that they have given us, for example. So to insert a graph, we'll select the provinces along with 2026 data, and then I'll go to Insert tab, and then inside Charts group, I'm going to choose Insert column or bar graph or chart, and then I'll choose the first one, 2D bar. Now, as you can see, our provinces, they don't appear the same as the one in the example. Western Cape is on top, and in our example, Western Cape is the last province. So what we'll do is we're gonna click on the provinces and then right click and then choose Format Axis. And then you see where it says categories in reverse order, we'll choose that one. Hmm. Question 4.6 says create a graph chart to appear as follows. They've given us an example of how our graph should be. As you can see, they are using the health incident data for 2016. So we're going to select our provinces. As well as the 2016 data. And then you're going to go to Insert tab, and then we'll choose the option of a graph. And then I'll choose the 2D bar graph. Now, as you can see, the provinces do not appear the same as the one of the example. So what we'll do is we will select the provinces and then we'll right click, and then where it says Format Axis, we'll click on it, and then we'll choose where it says categories in reverse order. And then as you can see, our provinces are the same as the example. And then now the last thing is to insert the data labels as well as the title. Question 4.6 says create a graph chart to appear as follows. As you can see, our graph, it is based on the health incident for 2016. And it has the provinces and also the data labels. So what I did off camera, I have sorted all the provinces so that they appear as the examples. So on your data file, you will see the provinces appearing as these ones. So you have to manually sort them according to the example. And then also with the 2026 incidences, like the numbers, I've also sorted them out so that they appear as the example that they have given us. So you do that manually. So now I'm going to show you how to insert a bar graph. So I'm going to select the provinces and also the 2026 data. And then I'll go to Insert tab and then inside Chart Group. And then I'm going to click the Insert Column or Bar Chart. And then I'll choose the first 2D bar graph. As you can see, the provinces are not the same as the one of the example. I'm just going to click on it. And then when you right click, the Format Axis dialog box will open. And then what you'll do is you click where it says categories in reverse order. And then what will happen is the provinces will flip and then they will appear the same as the one of the example. And then the last thing is to insert the data labels and the title. And then our title will be health incidents in 2016. So this is how we create the graph.